friends, hey mind wanderers, it's a Sunday deep dive. This is kind of like a pop-up IGTV live with yours truly. My name is Sam Led. I am a life strategist and trauma coach based out of Santa Barbara, California. It's so great to be here. I haven't done an IGTV live in I think over 2 weeks. Hey NCKI 4591, welcome. We're going to talk about all the things that you would wish people would talk about outside your therapist's office. And we're going to take that deep dive this morning, and we're going to talk about why some people recover from a life tragedy and actually persevere and actually become a success with their life, while others fail to figure it out and fall on their ass. And it's been a question that, we all ask ourselves. We all kind of wonder why some of us fail to learn the lessons of past mistakes and tragedies that have unfortunately, but fortunately taught us some lessons. Some of us haven't learned the lesson. Others of us have. So I want you to think about all the difficult times you've had in your life, all the life challenges that you've had, and the stories that you're telling yourself about yourself before and after something bad happened to you in your life. We all deal with trauma. We all deal with our own challenges and obstacles differently. But it all has to do with our coping abilities, of course. But, hey, Jeannie, welcome. I'm going to wave to you. I'm using a new lapel mic. It's kind of fun. It's exciting. I feel like now I'm actually official. But some of us will bounce back from bad times in our life. Some of us will bounce back from a life tragedy. Some of us will actually persevere and move forward. And, again, it's been a question that all of us ask ourselves. Some of us say, well, they bounced back because they had support. They had resources. They were lucky. Now think back for a second in your life about difficult times that you've had and why you've moved forward and why you've been able to transcend that tragedy, gain some wisdom and move forward. And there is no easy answer to any of this. Life is this EKG of ups and downs, One moment we're up and the next moment we're down. And the one moment we're up and the next moment we're down. And that is really kind of the litmus test of how we deal with the spaces in between when we've fallen down in our life and when we've moved forward. And I'm going to talk about this in my book, but I want to get back to the space in between. And now it goes back to growing up when we were little kids. We, in our formative years, we're like a sponge. We take in all the stimuli around us from our family, from our siblings, the good and the bad, and we mentalize it, we process it up here, and then we form these mental maps. These mental maps that create these judgments about how we think the world should be, and how we think others should judge us, and how others should see us in the world, right? And we create these mental maps that guide us throughout our formative years, and it's what basically keeps us from losing our mind, because it's a lot of stimuli that we take in, especially as we're growing, especially as we, become young adults, especially as we're in school. And then we go from childhood, then we go to school, and then we're doing the same thing. As a sponge, we're taking in all this stimuli, and we're trying to make sense of it all. We're taking the good, we're taking the bad, and then we create this mental map of how we see ourselves, how others we think see us, to make us feel safe and secure. And the safety and security is really what we're talking about here. I think I know who that is. Hi, Mandy. Been a long time. As we get older, those mental maps don't really change. We grow, we gain knowledge, we go through our tests, the good tests and the bad tests in life, the good things and the bad things that happen to us. But we try to focus on the good things in our life, to help us feel safe and secure so we don't lose our minds, right? And then we go through schooling, and then we get educated, and then we get out into the real world. And that's where the real challenges, where the real tests occur. Because we have this mental map of how we think the world should be and how we think others should perceive us, right? It's the stories we're telling ourselves and about the world around us that gets put to the test. Whether you are poor, whether you are rich, whether you come from a blue blood family in the Northeast or you come from Timbuktu, you're still all human beings with this supercomputer running the show, where actually you're running the show. Your spirit person in here is running the show. Because without you running the show, right, it's like unfortunately, you know, when things go awry with automatic pilot on a jet plane, you know what happens? Someone has to be at the controls running the show. The same thing with your brain. And it's the stories that you've constructed about yourself, about the world around you, that play a big role in how you're going to deal with really difficult times. And again, you don't have to be, you know, a trust fund kid. You don't have to be, you know, a son of a, you know, a politician, or it helps to, you know, to have a silver spoon to be born with a silver spoon. Uh-oh, I lost my mic. Hold on a second, people. Lost my mic. That's not good. Wait. There we go. Testing one. The gaffer tape is really terrible. Anyways. And then there we go, bust out into the real world, right? And there you are. And then you have your first major life challenge. Someone dies in your family. Your girlfriend or your partner or your spouse leaves you. You lose your job and you're sitting in your apartment wondering what the hell you're going to do. You start feeling sorry for yourself. The stories that you're telling yourself about your current reality or about how you think your world should be it's out of alignment. Because up to when you lost your job or you lost your partner or something bad happened, the stories that you were telling yourself and the mental maps that you were following, you know, were in alignment with your truth, you know, to keep you safe, to keep you feeling good, to keep you above water. You know, you're paying your bills. You learned how to pay your bills. You know, you took in the good stimuli and the bad stimuli at work or in your relationships. But then tragedy happens. And you're like, what the fuck? The mental maps, the construction of those mental maps are not working for me anymore. You start feeling sorry for yourself. You start focusing on all that negative stimuli, these old tapes that are being triggered from the past, old emotions that we bury deep within our psyche that are uncomfortable start being triggered. We start feeling hopeless. We start feeling that we can't move forward. We get caught up in depression or we get caught up in anxiety. We get stuck in our own proverbial quicksand. Hey, drives transporting, welcome. We get stuck in our own bullshit and we don't see the forest from the trees, right? What ends up happening? Huh? We either get depressed, we end up going into antidepressants, or we can't afford antidepressants because we lost our job, and we get deeper into that sinkhole of helplessness. We hyper-focus on the darkness. We hyper-focus on those old traumas that we've buried deep within inside us, those old difficult times, and we're just swimming against the current, right? Hey, spiritual voyage. We're swimming in this darkness and we can't move forward. In the meantime, around us, you know, bills start to pile up because we lost our work. We're feeling really alone and isolated. And instead of focusing on the story of I'm still safe and secure despite my loss of income or despite a family member dying or despite my lack of a partner and because my partner left me, we're focused on woe is me. I am in that swimming pool of lack. I can't move forward because look at all around me. Look at all the external evidence of my lack. My partner left me. I lost my job and someone died and a family member died. And then you're just stuck in that story. This is where the real resilient coping dragons come out, right? This is where we really put our own humanness to the test. What happens at that point? It's kind of like there's a fork in the road. You can either go left and just jump off and just drive off the cliff into your own demise, or you can go right and try again. What ends up happening is those of us that really have that coping dragon within us, despite your being rich or poor, despite coming from a good family or a shitty family, those mental maps that we've created from our own willingness to learn and to observe and to be a custodian of our life come really they come really full circle. Hello, Bella, welcome, D-Gens. All those mental maps that we have created from when we were born to now are put to the test. Those coping systems that we thought we had within us are put to the test. For some of us, we realize that hyper-focusing on the darkness is part of grieving the loss of something that we once had. But then, for some of us, right, something happens. We realize our mind is glitching. Our glitchy mind that tends to focus on the negative, that tends to focus on all the bad things happening in our life. We realize, oh shit, I'm focusing on all the crap, all the darkness. Yeah, a family member just died and my partner left me and I lost my job and I can't pay my bills. Fuck. But I am not going to be able to get out of this current situation when I'm focused on all the darkness, when I'm actually listening to all these negative tapes that are being triggered from the past, that some of them I don't even remember. It's buried deep. Our internal instinctual coping dragon comes out. And it's actually not done by just inertia, right? Some of us, we start thinking about what it was like to be in love again, right? We contemplate what that feels like to be in love again. We contemplate what it feels like to have a great job again and what it's like to have real meaning and purpose in our life. We contemplate what it's like to have healthy family members, right? We bask in that light. We bask in that feeling of goodness. And that happens one day. That happened to me when I thought my whole world was falling apart. I was focusing on all the negative gobbledygook of my life, all the things that weren't going right. Those old tapes of old traumas, those old tapes of old disappointments, old betrayals, old letdowns. They were still there, but I stopped listening to those old tapes. And you can do the same thing. It takes a great coach. It takes a real willingness to write down all the things you are grateful for. And this is not easy, but you can do it. So then writing all these things down really help. So I'm making up this person. I'm just this proverbial person, of course. So then this person starts to really bask in that feeling of what it's like to have these things again and actually starts believing it. And instead of feeling terrible and feeling hopeless and waking up every morning with all these past due bills around them, hey, Whitmandi, with all these calamities around them, even though they're still there, right? They still have to deal with the grief of losing a loved one. We still have to deal with not having a job and our rent's due in a couple days. But basking, just feeling fucking good for the spite of feeling good, and realizing our brain started glitching as soon as that trigger event. Somebody died. I lost my job. My partner left me. That triggered that old tape. Some of those tapes you don't even realize are swimming around or playing around in here are triggered when we go through difficult times. But those of us that are watching, or those of you that are watching this right now that have been through some horrible life challenges, realize the turning point to really moving forward and finding your next act is basking in feeling good anyways. Because you can't, and again, the law of attractions, you can watch a million YouTube videos. You could become a Esther Hicks fan or go to, any one of Wayne Dyer's old YouTube videos. There's a million videos on YouTube about this. But it's actually practicing it. It's actually going there. It's making it a daily practice of basking in your own light of who you are, despite the fucking bills and despite London bridges falling down around you. It's focusing on your light. It's focusing on just feeling good without anything. Maybe your belly's hungry because you don't have enough money to buy food. Okay. But you got to feel good just to feel good. And once you start practicing feeling good, even with the lack of external evidence around you, then you can continue to feel good. And only from that point of feeling good can you develop the real strength to apply for jobs and get employed again, and to meet the next partner in your life and start dating again, and to start really healing from losing a loved one. A lot of this is common sense, but when we're in the thick of a life tragedy, hey, LA Tiger, welcome to a little Sunday cup of IGTV Live. Once we realize that the only way of moving forward with our life is starting to bask in feeling good about what our life was like before that major tragedy happened. Hey, Whitmandy, welcome. It's the only way we can jump off and start feeling good and moving forward with our life. That's the only way. Really be cognizant of the stories you're telling yourself about your life. Really be a good custodian of where you're focusing your attention on a day-to-day basis, despite how good, bad, or ugly your life is right now. Whether you are sick or you are rich or you're poor. Because all the greatest success stories are told when the person who's gone through a lot of shit in their life starts basking in what their life should feel like and starts focusing on all the good things that could possibly be good in their life, and to really start feeling good just for the hell of it. And that's not easy, especially when everything around you, all the external variable, all the external artifacts of what's going wrong in your life are right in front of you and very present. You got those past due bills piling up. You got an eviction notice from your landlord. The car won't start because you can't afford to fix the battery. I can go on and on and on. And none of this is easy. And no one has all the answers. You can go to a million coaches. You can go to a million therapists. And they can say, fuck all. The only person that can do this work and to feel good anyways, despite your situation, is you. And to feel like you have real meaning and purpose in your life, even when you don't feel like you have real meaning and purpose in your life, even when all the external stimuli, all the stuff around you is shit. We have to change our frequency. And again, I'm just repeating every guru, every coach, every therapist, every YouTube program. You can spend the rest of your life watching these videos. But if you don't enact it, if you don't do this for yourself, you're going to keep swimming in the shit. And it's about feeling good despite what's around you. It's about focusing on what your gifts and talents are to get you out of your own way, to get you focusing on what is possible in your life. Fuck the past. You may have a sick family member that you have to take care of. You may not be well yourself. You may be in financial chaos. But it's your life, and you're only given one life. No one's saying you need to be Pollyanna. You know? You still can feel like shit. But spend some time basking in what it was like before, or contemplate what it's like to feel good about yourself, for yourself. And when you continue to do that on a daily basis, spend a couple hours a day or spend 20 minutes a day doing that, hey, Park Soon-ho, you and you in the nosebleed seats will start to climb out of your depression, will start to climb out of your hopelessness, and you'll really be better equipped, in a better position to find solutions to your current problems. I promise you that. This is the work I do with my clients. I'm giving you a little hack. I hope this is helpful. Focus is a laser sword. I don't know what that means. Oh, what? So tell me about your awakening with Mandy. You don't have to have a moment with the gods. You don't have to have this. I mean, it would be great. We all had this like awakening where, we cracked the fuck open and we're just like, holy shit. Right? It takes 1 minute a day or 2 minutes a day just to focus on and bask in what it's like to be loved by a partner. What's it like to have the job you've always wanted and paying the bills and not having these past due notices come? What's it like to be healthy? What's it like to be in a place where you want to be? Every day. Create lists every day. I mean, it sounds completely nutty, and you're really, a lot of your family members that are, are swimming in the shit and their proverbial life shit. They'll look at you like you're fucking crazy. But I promise you, if you do this every day, eventually you're going to see some real shift in your life. Hope this has been helpful, everybody. Have a great Sunday. I will see you next week on another Cup of IGTV Live. Oh no. I'm sorry. Well, I'm so glad you're here with me, Andy. I'm so glad that you did not... there's little keys of the universe is really interesting like that, right? We have a near miss, like we're driving and we almost hit a car, or we choke on a piece of food. and we're like, we get angry at ourselves. Hold on, I'm losing my freaking mic. It's a new technology that I don't know anything about. These things happen and we're like, okay, I need to slow down. I need to take some real stock in where I am with my life and what I'm focusing on. I'm telling you, you don't have to believe me. You can go about your business after this video and just be like, fuck all, and I'm just gonna, do what I usually do. I'm living testimony to it. Anyways, thank you everybody for joining me this morning. If you are interested in my work and we can schedule a call, I do a 20-minute complimentary call just to see where you are at and see if we're the right fit. You can DM me or you can go to my website and contact me. My website is actually going to be being updated, and so I'm excited about that. Anyways, hey muchat, check out my website, www.solutionist180.com. I am grateful and honored that you all enjoyed this. I will see you next week on another Cup of IGTV Live. Don't give up, everybody. It's your life. Think about it.